What's up, Schwartz Force? Welcome back to the channel. Now, it's been a while since I dropped another budget review for you guys, so I will not disappoint. Today, we're looking at the Minimalist navy blue watch from Gallant. This thing is just amazing. Under 50 bucks, has a Swiss movement in it, which I'll get into here shortly. And I love the clean look of this dial in particular. You'll notice the case shape is similar to the Gallant Mickey and the Oreo watches, which I have reviewed. You can check it out up here if you haven't seen it yet. I highly recommend it. So we'll go over what I like about this watch, what I don't like about it, any suggestions I may have, but I think you guys will be really pleased with what I have to say. And remember, my coupon code DAVESAVES will still save you 10% off any of the Gallant watches that I reviewed. They're all listed in the description down below, so if you want to pick one up from Amazon, make sure you use DAVESAVES. That'll get you some savings. Again, I don't get any kickback from that. That's just for you to take advantage of. And that coupon code is good through January 1st of 2021. So you got plenty of time, guys. But without further ado, in case if you're new to the channel, my name's Dave. May the Schwartz be with you. And hey, did you know it's a great day to wear a watch? Today I have on the By Mine Flieger Type A watch. I picked this up a while back. And if you haven't seen the review on this, check it out. I highly recommend that too. Like under 30 some bucks. Great watch, 100 meters water resistant, sapphire crystal. I love it. And I have it on my new Straps Co. strap. It's kind of like a canvas and leather feel. Just testing it out, breaking it in. So far, I enjoy it. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, here we go. We got the Gallant. I'm calling this one the Navy Blue Minimalist watch by Gallant, but the actual model number is 8907-2. And before we get into the specs, I want to talk about the movement because I feel like that's where you're getting the most bang for buck with this watch. So this has the Ronda 704 movement. That is a Swiss-made two-hand movement with date complication. Now, because it only has the two hands, you're actually getting 5 years of battery life out of this watch, which is just awesome. And there's two different versions. So there's a 5-jewel quartz movement, which is gold plated, and then they have a 1-jewel nickel plated movement. So I don't know which one is inside this watch. I haven't opened it up to see, but it's just cool to see that you have a couple different levels, I guess, of the movement itself. But let's go ahead and jump into the specs. So starting out with our measurements, we are looking at a case diameter of 39 millimeters, with the crown that's putting us right at 42 millimeters. Now, the interesting thing with this case shape or case design is lug to lug height is 46.5 millimeters, and then the case thickness is a very nice 9.5 millimeters. So this watch wears a little bit smaller than you would think. And I mentioned this in the other video of the Mickey and the Oreo. So the actual crystal diameter is just over 30 millimeters. So when it's sitting on the wrist, again, I have a 7-inch wrist, and you can see it actually wears a little bit smaller than you would think. Now, Gallant has other models that use a metal alloy case with the stainless steel case back. This watch, spending a little bit more money, you're getting a full solid stainless steel case and case back, 50 meters of water resistance, which we see here indicated on the back, and then of course, Swiss movement confirmation. Love the branding etched into the back of the case as well. And you'll notice that the crown has the Gallant Shield logo and then just Gallant branding at 12 o'clock on the watch. So it's not overly branded. I feel like this is just a nice, clean looking watch. Gallant's always impressed me with their ability to have designs that are different from what you normally see, but not over the top. As I mentioned when I talked about the Oreo and the Mickey watch, the kind of downside about having a watch like this with this case shape, even though it is unique and really cool looking, is the silicone strap, while very comfortable, really I don't know how long it's gonna last. I know when I talked to Gallant, they mentioned that it's supposed to last 2 years, and I'm thinking that's minimum because when you think about it, especially for me and my collection, I don't wear this watch all day, every day. It's not exposed to all the elements all the time. So I'm not really as concerned with it lasting shorter of a term. I think I could easily get many more years out of this watch, but they're still working on having replacement straps available. So that's just something to keep in mind that could come up in the future. I have sent emails to my point of contact with Gallant, so they are aware of it. Just something I want to point out. Now you'll notice this is a little different from the Oreo and the Mickey. This black Silicone strap actually has black stitching into it, so there's no contrast stitching, but the stitching is done very well, of course, just like the others. I really like that. And then a way that the lugs curve down and the strap just continues on from there, it's really nice to see. So this thing just fits on the wrist very well. And again, because of the shape and the design, it wears a little bit smaller, so smaller wrists, you could definitely wear this watch without any issue. So now that we've gone over the measurements, let's talk about the case as well as the dial itself. The case is completely high polish, as you can see here. Same thing with the case back. And then we see the side of the bezel is also high polished, and then the bezel itself is brushed or satin finished. Now, one of the things, because the case having this all high polish, it plays with the light really nicely actually. Let me see if I can get up close where you can see how there's all these different beveled angles and edges. So the way that the case slopes down here, and then when it comes up to the bezel, you can see how it comes straight up and then angles inward. So it's coming out like this and then angling in. And I've mentioned this on the other watches where that bezel actually slopes downward and hits the crystal, and then you see that curved crystal is slightly domed. So there's a lot of, when you run your finger, your thumb over the watch, you can feel all of these different depths and angles that are happening with the watch itself. And you know, we're talking a $50 watch and you're getting all of these kind of subtle design elements to it. So it's not like anything else I've seen. I really like it. And if you're looking for something different, I mean, this watch is perfect. Absence of crown guards, as you can see, and then we have that coin edge on the crown. There is a little bit of branding there with the Gallant shield logo. Now moving to the bezel, as you can see, we have these indices that are etched into the bezel itself. There's these simple stick indices at 3, 6, and 9. We have that triangle there at 12, and then just these simple little pips at the other hours. Now looking at the dial, you see that the absence of the second hand allows for this more minimalist and clean look. The center of the dial has a sunburst effect in that navy blue color, and then there's a matte finish on the chapter ring. I like that the font they went with on the hour indices is smaller. You're gonna notice we have lume pips there at all of the hour markers, and those are applied. And we have Arabic numerals and then just these simple stick markers all along the chapter ring. We have a brushed Rayhot there on the inside, as you can see. Helps play with the light a little bit, a little more subtle. And then the very basic baton-shaped minute and hour hand. We have a date window there just above 6 o'clock. The date window is a little small. With having this wording here, I feel like it breaks up the symmetry enough to where I think if you didn't have this wording, it would stand out a little bit more. But I think because of the way that it's balanced underneath the wording, it seems to work a little bit better. They also kept the Gallant branding small, almost matching with the smaller font of the Arabic numerals, and I like that. It's not real loud and in your face with the branding. Everything's just kind of subtle. And then of course, Swiss movement indication there under 6 o'clock. Very cool. Actuating the crown is very easy. Popping into position 1 and 2, no problems there. Has a great tactile feel to it. When we're in position 2, we take the minute and hour hand, they move really nice, and you can see the date changes right around 11:20, and that will click over just before midnight, 11:55. Now when we're in position 1, we change the date, just rolls over and clicks in nicely. Now with the font, it's crisp and clear. I don't know if that's showing up there. So what I like about that is the date window. It's very easy to read the date, even though it's a little bit smaller. I probably would have liked to have seen the date window just a little bit bigger. But the font is crisp and clear on the date wheel. There's a little bit of high polish there around the date window. Gallant's one of these watches that the more you look at it, the more you find. So here's something I want to point out. On the inner edge of where the sunburst inner dial meets with the outer chapter ring, where it's matte finished, there's just a little bit of high polish. But you don't really notice it until you see the light play with it. Otherwise, you wouldn't even know it was there. But there's just that really slight ring of stainless steel in there. Really cool. So I love that about this watch, how you're always kind of finding these little things that you don't notice just at a quick glance. Get a little bit of a nice distortion with that curved mineral crystal, but it also has lume, so let's check it out. The only bad thing I can say about this watch is if you want to have a second hand, that's not there because of the movement. So that might be a downside for some. And then of course the strap, which we've addressed in the other watch videos and they are aware of as well. So as soon as I get any word from Gallant that there are replacement straps available, I'll be the first to let you guys know. And I mentioned this in the Oreo and the Mickey video, but let me just point it out again here. So you'll see the strap has these very small chevrons, and that just allows for a really nice texture and feel on the watch itself. I forgot to point that out earlier. And then the stitching is actual stitch. It's done very nicely. Just a winner in my opinion. And again, saving that extra 10% off, and sometimes I have sales on Amazon as well, so you might even be able to pick this watch up for about 40 bucks, which is just an absolute value. But let me know what you guys think of this one here, the Minimalist Navy Blue or model number 8907-2. What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear them in the comments down below. And if you haven't joined the Schwartz Force yet, make sure you subscribe down below, hit that bell for notifications for future videos. I always appreciate you guys' support. Don't forget the thumbs up for the yoga hand, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys at the next one. As always, may the Schwartz be with you. Take care.